on episode number 273 of Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, a weekly gift of guidance from my spirit guides on navigating the uncertain world that you are now living in. Published every Tuesday since 2014. Tonight, the guides will be talking about intuition has a shelf life. Use it or lose it. Intuition is your super decision-making weapon, a weapon of mass intention. Trusting your intuition is a 3-step process. First, you must listen and hear what that's your guides, through your intuition are telling you. You must listen. You must be able to hear them. In order to do that, you must calm your life down so you can hear them, because they never shout at you. Next, you must overcome the urge to doubt what you are receiving or second guess our messages. The urge to doubt what you are receiving. Why would you have this urge to doubt your intuition? Actually, you were born and bred on doubting it. This world, not the one you came from, but the world that you're in, didn't tolerate that. They said things to you like, who are you talking to? Snap out of it. Grow up. Wake up. Wake up to this world. At the expense of your intuition. It scared you so much that this part of you that first came here retreated. It scared you. So now you just found yourself in this world. That's a harsh place to be here. Lastly, you must act on the intuitive message we send to you while it's still valid. That's really important. You get the intuition and you go, oh, I knew that. I felt that. I got that gut feeling. I got that feeling in my heart. I remember having that answer. And I missed the opportunity again and again. Concerns about making a mistake or being judged hinder your ability to listen to your intuition, let alone act on it. It's not a big thing in this world. People want the edge. They want to have the advantage, but they don't want to admit to the fact that they followed their gut feeling. They followed their heart. They followed their intuition. They don't want to be laughed at. By the way, that's really over, you guys. Worrying about what people think about you. If you're hanging out with people who are that dense, and I really mean it, move on to new people, okay? To people who get you, to people who are like-minded, like you. With all the choices, fraud, and confusion in the world today, each person must learn to listen to their intuition until it becomes second nature once again, like it used to be when you first got here. You were born with this intuition. Intuition is the only truth that's left. Have you noticed all the lies? How do you know what the truth is? We're going to talk about that today. All right. Okay. We got a smoking comment from the Netherlands today on this insight. Viola, you are amazing. I don't know what to say. Your well thought out comments on our insights is amazing. And Ray's going to go ahead and read it.
Okay. Today, Viola said, I found something interesting about the gut. The gut is a long tube that starts at our mouth and ends at the back passage.
That's a nice way of putting it. That's a nice way of putting it. I like that.
Yeah. It processes food from the time it's eaten until it's absorbed by the body or finds its way out. Our gut makes the same chemicals that our brain makes when it thinks. The nervous system in our gut does not have the ability to doubt itself like our central nervous system does.
This is interesting.
This is interesting. Isn't that great? So, this makes me wonder why the regular psychology therapists focus so much on changing our thinking and working with our mind. So, when our gut tells us to do something, it cannot be doubted by changing our thoughts.
It's a gut feeling. It's something that you know. You can't even avoid it. It just showed up for free.
Right. Um, to my understanding, our gut slash intuition is a very powerful thing. When we all strengthen our intuition, all the mind games that are being played at the same time do not hold.
Okay. That is so brilliant what she said there. Ray, I want you to read that again, but slower so that people can get this. The way, now remember, Viola's from the Netherlands, and the way that she forms her thoughts is a little bit different, but absolutely accurate. So go ahead, Ray.
When we all strengthen our intuition, all the mind games that are being played at the same time do not hold up.
Right. That's right. So when your intuition is working for you, when you're aware and you're present and your intuition is activated, what you see going on with the games that go on in this world, the superficial stuff, it just doesn't hold up. The lies, the cheating, people trying to get you, or anybody trying to get you to go their way, you see right through it. Intuition is the truth. Intuition can't lie to you. Intuition is like telepathy. You telepathically pick up on what guidance is coming to you. That's intuition. There's no lies in that. You cannot lie when you're receiving telepathic communication. It's impossible. So that's what she's saying here. It bypasses all the nonsense and the superficial, stuff going on in this world, and the agendas trying to get you to do what they want to benefit them. Your intuition has no part in that. It sees right through it. It skips right over it. Okay, so when your intuition is on, you guys, you cannot miss. You can't afford not to have your intuition on. All right, go ahead, Ray.
Okay, so she says she wonders if the people can connect their intuition together like a strong chain.
by
Okay,
by people getting together is what she's saying, and creating a chain of strengthened intuition. Go ahead, Ray.
can you and the guys tell us something about that? How does it work? Do we all need to have the same gut feeling, same food, digesting the same food?
or
Okay,
or or, or the same intention.
right, about something.
It's the intention. Okay, let me go back to this insight. The first sentence that I read to you guys tonight, it's just, I'm only reading excerpts out of the insight. If you guys want to get these insights, make sure you go to lindadeer.com and sign up for them. Okay, they're delivered to your email box every Tuesday. And here's what I want to emphasize. Intuition is your super decision making weapon, a weapon of mass intention. It's powerful. Nothing. And so her question again, Ray, read the question she has there at the last couple paragraphs.
Okay,
No, the last
last
paragraph.
paragraph. Okay.
There's like three questions there.
When we all strengthen our intuition, all the mind games that are being played in this time won't hold.
I know.
I wonder if we people can connect our intuition together like a strong chain.
That's question number one.
Can the guides tell us something about that? How does it work?
Number two.
Do we all need to have the same gut feeling?
Number three. Okay. Okay. So the guides are going to answer Viola on this. Awesome, awesome, awesome comment, Viola. Great things to think about.
Okay, the first question was, okay, can you put it all together? Can you hook it together like a chain?
Yeah.
If you have the same,
Intention.
right. It sounds like it would work on the surface, but everyone must have the same intention. There can be two groups of people in the same place at the same time, and half of them have one intention, and the other half have a different intention. Let's look at a sporting event. Half the people have a gut feeling that their team, the home team, is going to win. However, the half sitting on the other side of the field have a different gut feeling. They think the visitors team will win. Now, everybody in the stadium does not have the same intention. Half will go home disappointed, and half will not. Another thing you need to consider is that all of your intuition does not come from your gut. The term gut feeling came about as something men would call intuition. Women called it intuition, but it seemed more macho to call it gut feeling. Now, your intuition could come from your gut feelings or your heart.
Right.
Big difference. Your intuition doesn't always come from both. So you your theory when intuition comes from the heart would not hold up since two people don't have the same heart electric system. It's it's complicated to say the least, but unlike the mind where you get thousands of people in around the world meditating on something at the same time, it does have a strong effect on what they focus on because energy is being sent out.
With a specific intention.
Right. It's very difficult, as you will see, that once you get intuition, that it can be validated by others.
What do they mean by that last sentence? When you get intuition, it can be validated. What do you mean?
Not can't get validated all the time by others.
You meant can't, not
Right.
can. That's, yeah.
People tend to, once they get an intuitive hit, to look for validation. So, who do they talk to? Their friends, their mother, relatives, and without knowing the intuitive hit you received, you will find many different interpretations
Right.
of a situation that everybody calls their intuition.
Yeah, this is where you keep your guidance to yourself.
Yeah.
I've said this so many times because they didn't, they're not invested in the energy that was inclusive of the intuition, not separate. It's never separate. It is it is a it's the fact that the energy was there, came through to you, that the intuition and the message that came through was able to reach you. Okay, one, you were present, and number two, you were open to it. Now, if you try to share something like that, a present moment situation, and the true energy, the true essence of that message with somebody else, you're already going down the wrong road. Do you see what I'm talking about? They're not going to get it. And you can't even expect them to get it. All you could do is get mad at them because they didn't get it.
Well, yeah.
And that's not going to work. So you keep the intuition to yourself. And how do you do that? Why would anybody have to keep it to themselves? And here's why I created these journals, the companion journals to Guided, is so that you would have a place to have this conversation with yourself. And when you have this conversation, writing it down in your journals about what did come through, about what it is you have a question about what amazing intuition you got. And now, what do you do with it? And when do you act on it? These journals right here, My Guided Journey, that's the one you want to get. You want to get this one first because it includes both parts. There's a small part of part 3 at the end of My Guided Journey. All right. But My Guided Journey is inclusive. It's all the parts that I wrote so you guys could perform on your intuition and no longer flounder with it, no longer go into doubt about it, no longer question yourself, no longer need to go out and tell everybody about your intuition only for them to go, oh, go away. I've heard that before. You don't have very good intuition. Nobody knows what's going to happen. You're trying to predict things. Who do you think you are? You think you're psychic? I mean, I've heard all of it. And I'll tell you what, from the time I was a kid, I learned to keep my guidance to myself by having my journal to write in. So I could have this conversation with myself and the guidance that came through on the pages that just showed up. And when I looked back at what I wrote, I would go, oh my God, I don't remember writing this, but I know that came from those who followed me here. I know that came from my guides. You won't see it in the moment that it happens. You won't. You can't see it when you're in it. I say this all the time because it's brutally true, you guys. That's why if you don't write it down, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. And what does the intuition mean? You may not know at the time. You will know if you write it down so that then when you refer back to it, there's a little bit of gap in time so that you can begin to solidify and really connect with your guides about what the message really is. So then you have this realization. It's automatic, it's free. So you can take an action that is the right decision.
Yeah. The whole purpose of somebody getting an intuitive hit is to follow through on it. So why would you go out and ask outsiders for advice? Normally, they don't want to give you the advice they give
Because
you.
you doubt.
Is not the right thing.
There's two things. You either doubt what came through.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see if somebody else had similar experience, or or you're looking for just validation. You need somebody to tell you that you're amazing, and that's really great intuition, and you should follow through with it. You're not going to hear it.
No, you'll
Okay,
never get that answer.
you're not going to hear it. They're not going to tell you that. If you do run into somebody who tells you that, that's a rare moment.
Yeah, they would have to understand you pretty well.
They'd have to understand themselves pretty well.
Understand your thinking. Now, sometimes you get intuitive hits. It's not always about something good that's going to happen. You a lot of times.
A warning.
A lot of times you'll get intuition that
Chapter 1.
It's kind of like a sneaking suspicion that something's just not right.
Chapter 1 of Guided. Chapter 1, 28 chapters in Guided. Chapter 1 was a prophetic dream I got that showed me the course of my life and my purpose here. And was it wonderful and pleasant? No, it wasn't. It wasn't. And it disappointed me, and it took me a little while to get my head around it. Because when I first came into this life, you guys, I came in excited to be here. So when this dream landed on me at the beginning of my life, followed me for 35 years. I had that same exact dream for the first 35 years of my life. That's amazing. And how come it stopped? It stopped because I started to follow through on where that dream uh, was destined to take me, where that life I was destined to live out. I began to move that way. And they were like, okay, we don't need to keep hitting her with that dream because she's moving that way now. And that's what she intended before she came here. And I'm talking about the guides, when we planned her life and what she intended to achieve in this lifetime, that was the most important reason why she came here. Okay. That intuition includes all that. It includes your reason for being here, your purpose, your mission. You didn't just show up in this life just to, blow off another life, party all the time, just be mindless and unconscious. You did not. You did not come here to do that.
If you get an intuitive hit, and you said like sometimes it's a warning, okay, and you don't tell the other person about how you interpreted it, they may tell you to say, "Oh, that sounds great. You should do that," when it was really a warning for you not to do that.
Yeah, you're the only one that knows. All
Right.
right. But really, to really know, here, let me use a different word, to become conscious, really, really conscious about your life and what's really going on in your life. Not the superficial stuff, not the obvious stuff, but I mean, what's really going on. You won't know it until you write it down. And then when you look back at it in a day from now, a week from now, a month from now, in review, you'll start to see what it is. But you can't see it when you're in it. It goes along with the amnesia you were assigned when you first came here. You came into these bodies can only handle so much of your energy. Most of who you are, your energy, you had to leave behind because your body would literally explode if you brought all that energy with you. It couldn't handle it.
You know, Here's a little test of, is it real intuition or is it my imagination?
Or is it something I want? It's
Something I
something
want,
I want
making
to
it up.
believe,
Right, right. Well,
or something I want to have happen.
sometimes you'll get an intuitive hit and you feel confident about it, that it will work, even though it doesn't seem rational. The outcome doesn't seem rational because it's never happened like that before in your
Right,
life.
right, right, right.
But you feel confident that this time it's going to work. I mean, that's an intuitive hit.
It is, Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times, also, what will happen with intuition, people want it, people in this life, they want to create goals. Okay, I'm going to invest this much money into my business. And if it doesn't perform in this amount of time, I'm going to cut my losses and move on. But then your intuition will come through and say, mm, it's going to take longer than you think, but the rewards are going to be greater than you ever imagined. Your intuition, you have a dream, or you're in the shower, or you're driving somewhere, and you get this hit. All right, and it goes against your better judgment from the perspective of just being in this world. It goes against it. So what's going to play out here? That what you didn't expect that came through and said no. You may have to get a second job. Your intuition, what your guides are showing you and telling you, you may have to get another job or another way of making income to subsidize the plan that you thought had an end goal. If it didn't perform in a certain amount of time, you're going to cut your losses and move on. No, this is a good project. Leave it. We want you to continue doing this, but you're going to need to support doing it by getting some other source of income in this world so you can keep this going. Because at some point it's really going to be something that humanity values and something we need you to do, something you came here to do. It's that important. So do something to subsidize it. You will, there'll be times when you experience things like that too. Your idea about what should perform in what a period of time, and the way you think things should be, will be completely um, uh, it won't work out at all if that's the way you're treating your intuition. That's not intuition. That's just being in this world and evaluating things the way that it's done in this world. A business plan, a certain amount of funding, a certain time amount of time to perform on it. If it doesn't perform, kill it. But then something comes through and says, "Don't kill it. No, you're on the right track, but do something to subsidize it." You could get something like that. And then but unless you were willing to participate and cooperate, uh, if you were saying, "Well, I want it sooner. I want it now," then you'll just blow through your intuition, the guides and all your intuition, and the reason you're here will just be it'll just be gone. Okay, you can do that. You have free will. This is the ultimate opportunity to express your free will. So you could just chuck it and tell your intuition and the guidance that came through to shove it. You can do that because that's your free will. But you know what, you guys? There's consequences. There's consequences for following your intuition. And when they tell you, get a side hustle going so you can support this until it takes off. Humanity's not quite ready for what you have to offer yet, but they're going to be. So do something to subsidize yourself. You can go along with that, or you can just say, to heck with it. You've got, it's your free will, and there's a consequence for sticking it out. When you get the intuition to stick it with it, you've got to get that side hustle going and tolerate more, of everything, and in hopes that humanity is going to come around to waking up so they're ready for what you've got to offer. Or you can just say, to heck with it, and the consequence is that you've squandered that opportunity. Consequences either way.
When those situations come up, you should always ask yourself the same question. You've been working at something for a while, it's not working out. Should you
as fast as you wanted it to?
Should you continue, or should you stop and cut your losses? You should always ask yourself, how will I feel if it does work out?
Oh.
And then, how will I feel if I continue working at it and it doesn't work out? And that's what you have to weigh.
Right, because if it's really right for you, if it's something that calls your soul, okay, it doesn't matter how long you work at it, it's going to pay off. Because it comes from something deeper than just the surface you, okay?
It's also interesting you mentioned dreams, because a lot of your intuition comes through dreams.
It does, Ray.
And when you keep having the same dream or the same intuition coming through a dream, that is intuition offering you the same opportunities that are keep knocking on your door.
True.
Right. Well, you didn't listen to us last time, so here's the same dream again. You didn't really believe it the last time, so...
They don't give up on you.
Right.
That's your guides working for your benefit. They're always with you, you guys. They're always working to your benefit, to help you throughout your lifetime. Always. So use them. Write. You won't get it if you don't write it down.
Yeah, you really do have to write it down. I mean, because you can't remember how many times you had that dream or how many times you had that hit and what was the circumstances when it shows up all the time.
You can't see the pattern. How often does that come through? You start writing these things down, you're going to look back at what you wrote and go, that is really loud and clear. It keeps coming through. It came through my dream. It came through in the shower. It came through when I was cooking, washing the floors, driving to work. It comes through when I'm shopping at the grocery store. It comes through when I'm holding my pet. It comes through. Okay. So if it's coming through like that, I got to tell you, you can turn your back on it, but it's stronger than you are. It's bigger than you are. Yeah. And it's your soul bleeding through is what it is. When it comes through that strong, like it did for me from the beginning of my life, it won't let you go. I don't fight it, you guys. I follow my intuition, and I get I'm going to say it was today's Tuesday, Sunday. I had a dream that was hellacious. It was not a dream that I never dreamed I would have, and it was it's something that's coming, and it has to do with something from somebody in from my life, and it's going to show up again. And it gave me a heads up, gave me a warning shot. And it's not bad for me, but it's really bad. They let me know something bad is going to happen there, and how to prepare for it. Yeah. So I know all the time. I know all the time where I stand. But this writing in your journal will raise your consciousness so that there's 4 qualifying questions in each one of these journal entries that's going to become second nature for you. It's going to be automatic. It's going to be alive inside of you. Okay? As you learn to pour yourself out onto the pages. It'll be just so fast. You'll go right through those 4 questions. Write down what happened, what was unusual or out of the ordinary that day. A dream you had, something that came to you, out of the blue sky, right? Happens all the time. This is just going to make you more aware of it happening so you quit missing it. Okay? And then it asks you, after you write it down, how did that make you feel? What did you feel? That's the most important question. Consciousness resides in the details, and the depth in which you go into how it felt, how it made you feel, what you felt will provide you with the epiphany, the realization, which is the third question. You write down what that is. It's free. It just comes right through after you're done purging how it felt. And then once you have that realization and you write it down, you're going to know what to do. The last question is, what action are you going to take? You
Yes.
guys, it's natural. It's a natural process. Go ahead, Ray.
You have time, when it's intuition, you have time to go through those questions and then get to the point, well, now what action am I going to take? So don't, some people confuse intuition with instincts.
Mm.
They're instincts, like animal instincts. They
Fight or
don't
flight.
fight or flight, fear. Fear presents itself. Do I run? Do I bite him in the
That's
neck?
when you panic. If you panic and you try to do this, you guys, it won't work for you. Okay, you've got to breathe. You've got to. The most important thing is you have to write the truth. You have to tell yourself the truth, exactly how it happened. Well, not with embellishments, not from emotions, but from feeling. There's a big difference between emotional energy and feelings. Feelings is your intuition. Emotional energy is in this world. It's what you want, and you want it now. It's ego based, and it's all that kind of stuff. Okay, it's wanting to have approval. Everyone likes you. That everything, your life is great and it works out, or it's not great, and it gets really mucked up with emotions. Emotions will not ever reveal the truth to you. Your feelings will. They're different.
Yeah, your instincts demand an immediate response, an immediate
Fight or flight.
physical response. That's
Right.
just one of them. Yeah,
Right.
but
When you
intuition.
when you write here, that's not fight or flight. That's time out. So you can express exactly, not making stuff up. Not making stuff up. MSU, the University of MSU, making stuff up is over for you guys. That's nothing but drama and trauma and emotional energy that mucks up the water. Make sure you guys remember this. That's the big difference. If you want clean, clear intuition, you want to know what direction to go into. You don't want anything mucking it up. Stay true to yourself by just connecting with the feeling it came through. Clean and clear. In fact, when I have a dream like I did on Sunday, oh my God, I came out to and get to my computer, and first thing I do is check my fan mail. I wrote down exactly what it was, so I wouldn't lose track of what it was. I wouldn't reword it in a different way. It's important that it's written down exactly how it came through. Because if you let it sit for an hour or two and you try to remember what it was, you won't write it down the way it came through. It will have some emotional charge in it. You don't want that. Okay. Okay. Intuition has a shelf life. Use it or lose it. So you don't want your intuition just to sit there and go, oh, well, that was interesting. When you write it down, you won't lose it. You've used it. You put it down on paper, and now you can refer back to it, and you can engage with that in your life. All right. So I have an announcement for next week. Next Tuesday, March 30th, for episode number 276 of Linda's Weekly Guided Insights. When I'm done with the announcement, the guides are going to close the session with their closing message about intuition has a shelf life, use it or lose it. Okay, episode number 276 of Linda's Weekly Guided Insights. Again, you can sign up for those insights on my website. With me, Ray, and my spirit guides at 6 p.m. Pacific time on my Facebook page, Facebook timeline, and YouTube channel. Use the search term Linda Deer. In Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, my spirit guides will be talking about the stress pandemic. The takeaway from next week's episode is you will see how stress took over your life. The stresses people are experiencing have been building up for decades. The solution to this stress pandemic is to let go of your attachments to stuff, along with what others think about you. That's important. That's critical. Let go of all the beliefs that no longer serve you. Let go of the toxic people in your life and all your destructive habits and unhealthy relationships. Okay, that's what makes the stress pandemic so real. All right. It's something, you guys, stress pandemic, do we really need it? Is there a way around it, a way out of it? I can answer that. What you need is more downtime, more alone time, more time out, more time to write in your journal about what's really going on within you. Okay. Okay, so intuition has a shelf life, use it or lose it. If my work makes a difference in your life, tell your like-minded friends about what we do. Share this video. Tell them to go to my website. Right on the home page, going down the page, it really does cover everything that I do. All right. And all the books that I've written. Guided is my flagship book. It's the one that you start with. It's how I did this. Okay. Okay. So the guides are going to close this session on intuition has a shelf life. Use it or lose it.
When you receive an intuitive hit or signal, it may often feel like your thoughts are getting pulled in a certain direction. This could be a new direction you never followed. That's where the doubt and the procrastination enter. However, you may get the same intuitive signal over and over again until you start to move in the direction your guides want you to. After this happens a few times or more, you may get the sense that it's not going to go away, that it has a long shelf life, and your guides are waiting for you to take action. Some people even procrastinate so long that they worry so much and flip flop on all the what ifs that they become physically sick. This is how anxiety and depression and regrets happen in people's lives. So write down what you feel. You don't have to understand it, just write it down. Then go back and study it and ask yourself, what does that make me feel like? And what do I realize from those feelings? Then your answer will appear without having to ask any outsiders. The action your guides want you to take will become clarity.
Clarity. That's right. And you will not doubt yourself. You guys, it's not about telling everybody about what's coming through for you. I learned that. I learned that from the time I was 7 years old when I first started journaling, when I had no one to talk to about what was going on in my life that I talk about in the early chapters of Guided, harrowing chapters of Guided. Okay. But I figured it out. I only figured it out with the help of my guides because I started the journal writing. I know how this works. Yeah, you will not miss your life this time if you follow through on this. Okay? You guys have this. We will see you next week.
It's not as mysterious as it sounds.
And remember, you are never alone and always being guided.